Right, let's discuss the upcoming African Nations Championship even further, which is popularly known across the continent as CHAN. For more on this, we're delighted to have two of the best in the subject. Sports journalist Eric Njiru joins me here in our studio in Nairobi, as well as Darren Keyune, who joins us from Kampala. Darren, let me begin with you. Is Uganda ready to co-host this tournament?
Well, after President Yoweri Museveni juggled the ball a couple of times just over 24 hours ago in the capital, Kampala, it certainly looks like the country is ready to host the rest of the continent at the CHAN finals. And there's been a lot of work that has been put into infrastructure development, particularly the training grounds to feed into the teams that will be hosted in the same group with Uganda, that is Group C. And majority of the work is nearly done and dusted. It was right 24 hours ago when the Confederation of African Football received officially Mandela National Stadium in Nambole, because there was actually another event for athletics meant to happen right inside the stadium, and it was cut short from 3 days to 1 day. And now CAF is in charge of the facility with tickets on sale. The country should be set to host its biggest major football tournament in history.
All right, Eric, let me bring you into the conversation. Let's talk about Tanzania for a moment. The co-hosts, Kenya, obviously, we heard recently withdrew from a four-nation tournament there due to concerns over the readiness and the facilities. Are Tanzania ready?
Well, I think of the three nations, I think Tanzania have been the most ready since like 3 or 4 years ago, because they have been playing in this CAF Champions League, CAF Confederation Cup, that is Simba and Yanga. The national team were in the last Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. I do think they just needed to do some touches here and there, especially the national stadium, that is Benjamin Mkapa Stadium, and also the stadium that hosted Simba in the Confederation Cup in Zanzibar. I do think Tanzania has been the most ready right now in terms of the team, also in terms of the infrastructure. And I think most of the people, when you mention CHAN and football in East Africa, they think of Yanga, they think of Simba, and they feel that Tanzania is the home of football. So everyone expects and they know that Tanzania should be ready. Yes.
All right, gentlemen, I'm squeezed for time here, but I'll ask you a quick question, half a minute for both of you. Do you think the idea of 3 countries hosting a tournament is a hit or miss? Darren, I'll begin with you.
I beg your pardon?
Do you think that the 3 countries hosting a tournament will be a hit or miss?
I beg your pardon?
All right, I'll ask the question to you, Eric, first.
Well, I think coming from the last couple of tournaments in the World Cup, the Africa Cup of Nations, it makes sense for these tournaments to be hosted by 3 countries, because when these tournaments end, these stadiums become like ghost towns. You don't know where to play, who to play here. Brazil hosted the World Cup in 2014. Some of their stadiums no longer host football. In South Africa, just like that, they hosted the World Cup, but they cannot fill those stadiums. I do think when you construct like 2 stadiums per country, it is good, because after the end of the tournament, the big teams like now in Nairobi, Gor Mahia, FC Leopard can be able to use those stadiums. But when you've got like 6 or 8 stadiums, it's not easy to fill them. When you go to Qatar right now, we were there 2 years ago for the FIFA World Cup. These stadiums, they're struggling to fill them, to be honest. So I do think you don't have to construct all these big stadiums. Do something small, few of them with 3 more countries, and that gives a chance to the fans across the world and across the continent to visit Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. So I think it makes financial and football-wise benefits to be hosted in 3 countries.
All right, Darren, very quickly, what are your thoughts on that? Is it going to be a hit or miss for 3 countries to host the same tournament?
Well, in terms of East Africa hosting football, I think this is bringing the grand stage of the sport to this particular region. It's definitely a hit. If you look at the number of facilities that are being put up in just a pretty much short time, I would just want to side with Eric that there's a lot that the region can pick, and it's probably a huge hit for the region. There are a lot more pointers to pick. Several times it's been discussed that this particular region doesn't put big players into the top 5 leagues in Europe. Maybe the conversation could be altered a decade from today onwards.
Right, let's keep the discussion going on the upcoming CHAN tournament. Eric Njiru and Darren Keyune are standing by for us. Eric, as we've heard, Kenya has said it's ready to host the CHAN tournament. In your opinion, is that so?
Well, I think so, because I've seen Kasarani, I've seen yesterday. I think they are ready for this kind of tournament, because China is not like AFCON where you need like a lot of things or a lot of people to be ready for the tournament. I think the grass is doing well right now in Nyayo Stadium. I think we were there the day before yesterday. Kasarani looks perfect. I mean, I'm looking forward to watching the matches there. So I think Kenya, in terms of infrastructure, we're not doing okay. The hotels, obviously, the ball has been ready, the traffic is fine. In terms of the team, a couple of players have been pulling out, I mean, here and there, but we should be having a good team to play in this local tournament.
All right, Darren, coming to you, let's turn to the East African rivalry as well as battle for bragging rights. Which co-host do you think will go furthest in this competition? Don't be biased.
Perhaps not to take the angle of being biased. Let me go with the fact that I think Tanzania could be, on paper, a little more favored to go the longer distance than Uganda. In terms of this particular competition, because looking at how they've prepared, but also this tournament being a measure or a yardstick for the quality or strength of leagues across the continent. Sometimes this has been discussed to be vice versa. If you look at some of the players that have been named in some of the teams are not naming their fully fledged the strongest of teams. But I would think Tanzania should stand a chance. Several times they've attempted to qualify and have actually been stopped by Uganda. And this time, the fact that they've boasted of the home advantage, a decent run that some of their clubs have had on the continent, Simba a couple of seasons ago, Young a couple of seasons ago, Simba just recently in the CAF Confederation Cup final, as well as Azam. Some of the doors that the clubs have been able to knock, and this is where some of the players come from. But as well, I've got to spare a thought for Uganda. Even if the group has got South Africa, I've seen in South Africa's squad, there are 12 unattached players who've been named. There's also Kigan Dolly, one of the big names in that setup, as well as Algeria. There's a lot of familiarity in the group for Uganda that as well has the likes of Guinea and Niger. And you think maybe Uganda could stand a chance to get out of the group, and that depends on how they start the tournament against Algeria. But I think overall, on paper, I think Tanzania should stand the biggest of chances to advance at this particular tournament, and understandably so. They've got the biggest or the best league in the region. All
right, Eric, we're going to take a quick break after this, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think just to pick his point, I think Chan shows the quality of a local league. These are the local-based players, and that is why our group is a tricky one. To be honest, there's a group of death. We're playing Morocco. They are a very good league in the world, not just in Africa. We played DR Congo, 2 times winners. And like he said, Tanzania, Simba and Yanga have been doing well in the Africa Champions League and the Confederation Cup. So our league, remember, we're just picking up after the suspension by FIFA. Also, there was COVID. We're trying to pick up last season and the season before, like the first full proper season that we played. There was no TV. And now Gor Mahia lost the league. Police won the league. These players now that play for us, they will show where we are. It may not even see the real picture of Ben McCarthy for this one, but the players that are playing, especially the likes of Mohamed Bajaber, Ryan Ogam, Austin Odhiambo, best player from Gor Mahia, will be showing what they can do. And this is also a very big chance for these local players to be able to be seen by the European clubs to go. This week, we've seen reports for Mohamed Bajaber being linked to Simba in Tanzania. I mean, there are many players like Austin Odhiambo that have always wanted to go to Europe. So for me, this chance is a chance for them, and also the young coaches who are coaching these schools to be able to be seen by big clubs, not only from Europe, but also from Africa.
All right, before we go any further, let's take a look at the past winners of the African Nations Championship. Right, let's get our final thoughts on the upcoming CHAN. I'm still joined by Eric Njiru and Darren Kieyune. Darren, I'll begin with you. Senegal are coming to defend their trophy, and we have the 2-time former winners in the DRC and Morocco also in the running. Who do you think will take home the trophy on August the 30th?
Well, of course, Senegal has undergone a couple of changes at the helm of their football. There've been some changes in the technical staff, but the fact that they tested almost every piece of silverware just over a year ago and won almost everything on offer in terms of continental football. You may think they still have got a few of those sparks. Of course, they lost to Uganda in the friendly match that they played in Tanzania just a few hours ago. But you can't rule them out, even if their group has got 4 teams. I would still spare a thought for Morocco, because just 2 years ago they had a team winning the AFCON Under-23 title, as well as a bronze medal at the Olympic Games. Some of the players do come in, as well as a peak from the fold of teams like Wydad Casablanca that have kept knocking at the door. But then as well, finally, I've got to say the Democratic Republic of Congo, every CHAN tournament, they always unleash talent.
Right, Darren, I'm going to have to jump in here. We're almost out of time. Eric, before we go, I'll ask the same question to you. What's your prediction?
I think I'll predict Morocco to win the cup. I think the final could be Morocco versus DR Congo, or probably Tanzania, because of the fan base at home.
Interesting. The former World Cup winners might be going into the World Cup on a high there. Darren and Eric, thank you very much for your thoughts and for joining us on Sports Scene. Eric Njiru, sports analyst and journalist, as well as Darren Keyune joining us in Kampala. Well, that's it for this edition of Sports Scene. Do remember, you can send your feedback to the contact on your screen and follow us as well on all our digital media platforms. Thanks once again for watching. I'm Mahia Mutua, from myself and everyone here at CGTN. Thank you for watching. Check out this incredible artistic swimming performance by Team China at the World Aquatics Championships in Singapore.